Hello, my name is Nick. I'm going to be showing you how to do the microprocessor demo. Alright, first we need to go to ROM 1 and set it to 8, and then set ROM 2 to 3. And right now, if I want to choose whichever one I want to use, I go to the address and I select 1 or 2. So right now it's on 0, which means that 8 will be getting sent through the memory bus. And if I choose 1, then 3 will be sent through the memory bus. But right now I want 3, so I'll leave the address on 1. Now come up here, select AB. It'll send it through. If I leave it on 1, it'll send it through here. And if I leave it on 0, it'll send it to storage B. I'm gonna leave it there, and set EMB to 1. And then I run a clock pulse, and it's stored right here. I set EMB to 0, and now I need to get value 8 up here, so I change the address to 8, and I turn A and B on to 1, and then now that it's directed to the Alio Mini, I can select different modes using it. So I want the subtract one on, so I'm gonna leave it on 0. And by changing different ones, you get different answers. So if I have it on 1, it would add them together and I would get 11. If I leave it on 0, it will subtract them, so I would get 5. And then once whatever you want is in here, you set this to 1, and then I run a clock pulse, and the register should say 5, and it does. Now if I turn both of these off, this is already off, but if I leave them off and I run clock pulses, they should stay in their thing. So now if I set this to 1, all this will go red, because the memory bus can only take one data at a time, and there's data coming from the account out and the ROM 0. So I would need to turn this read off, and then what's next? Alright. After turning read off, the memory bus should say 5, and it does. And now we're gonna store it in RAM 6, so I'm gonna turn write on, and I'm gonna turn this to RAM 6. Make sure RAM 6 is on. So now it's on RAM 6, and if I run a clock pulse, it sets it to 5. Now, this machine is a digital. Hold on. Is this machine digital or analog? It is digital because there were not any continuous pulses running into it, or continuous data running into it. It's just data going in one by one. And a bit is a binary unit being either 0 or 1. And in this microprocessor, in this microprocessor there are 16. This is a 16-bit. A register is a clump of binary cells, and they are very important in computers because they basically do all the computing in a computer, like transferring data and doing all the computing power and just addressing, and it's very fast and reliable. It does everything instantaneously, and there are 5 registers in this microprocessor, being store B, the accumulator, and RAM 5, 6, and 7. And all of these are parallel in and serial out.